領域展開福間水す
残像
犬
In my previous video, I heavily relied on Eldritch Blast to do all the work for me. And if you watched it or played Warlock yourself, you would know Eldritch Blast can get you very far into the game without using much else. However, as you get more levels into your build, one particular fun build path opens up. Multi-classing Paladin and Warlock isn't anything new, and many already agree it is a super reliable build. But what I haven't seen many people use is combining it with Darkness and Devil's Sight. So here is the build. From level 1 to 5 you level up Warlock. Level 1, pick Great Old One for the Frightened status for each critical strike. Level 2, get Agonizing Blast and Devil's Sight. Level 3, get Pact of the Blade, and don't forget to pick Darkness as your spell. Level 4, you pick Misty Step, and the feat you want is Warcaster for the concentration buff for Darkness. Level 5, you get an extra attack on your Pact weapon. You can start multi-classing into Paladin at level 6 if you want, but it doesn't matter. What I would recommend is continue leveling Warlock to level 8, then respeccing everything again. If you want to do this as fast as possible, spam Hunger of Hadar and Eldritch Blast until you reach level 8. Now you can respec everything. You are going for 5 levels into Paladin and 3 levels into Warlock. Choose whatever oath you want, or even go Oathbreaker. What feat you need is up to you. I would recommend Warcaster again, but you could also wait for level 9 to do that. A lot of people go ability score increase or great weapons fighting for the extra attack, which are also good choices. Level 5 Paladin gives you some smite spell slots and an extra attack. Level 6 to level 8 you pick Warlock, go Great Old One again, choose Devil's Sight and Agonizing Blast and pick Darkness. Level 8 you pick Pact of the Blade and your build is ready. Later on you're gonna add levels into Warlock up to level 10 to get the extra attack on your Pact weapon, giving you 3 total attacks in one turn. You should at that point be 5 levels into Paladin and 5 levels into Warlock. Up to level 12 is a matter of personal preference, but you can also go Fighter for the action surge, giving another extra attack. The idea with the build is you cast Darkness in combat, making it harder for enemies to hit you and being immune to ranged attacks. Also, you get guaranteed smites on the enemy. Just like the domain expansion, you would have all the advantage in a fight. And the best part is, you bypass enemies with Dark Vision, since Dark Vision is for normal darkness and not for magical darkness. For that, the enemy must have the Devil's Sight trait. Regarding weapons, you have a lot of freedom, but one of my personal favorites is the Thunderhammer you can get from Daemon in The Last Light Inn. It is one-handed, which means you can have a shield for more armor class, it deals electrical damage, and gets a bonus when it is a packed weapon. Overall, a very strong for an Act 2 weapon. In my party, I went with Lae'zel, Will and Shadowheart. Lae'zel for the Soulbreaker Greatsword you can get from the Githyanki captain in the Mountain Pass. It gives great bonuses when wielded by Githyanki, but later on we will swap it out for the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane in Act 3 for a beefier version. Will, for no particular reason, you can pick any one you want here, but I went with Will.
So, Will with a Y. Why?
Why? That's right.
But why?
But Shadowheart is the most important one. If you make a certain choice in Act 2, you get Bully Maguire Shadowheart. You will receive Shar's Spear of the Night, giving more damage when hitting lightly obscured enemies, which every enemy is going to be since you only fight in darkness. And the ability to cast Darkness without expending a spell slot once per turn. Maybe the most important weapon for this build, and honestly, if done right, you can lone wolf the game with Shadowheart. Honestly, the most fun part about this build is the level of safety you feel when surrounded and fighting inside your little domain expansion. For example, in the first Ketheric Thorm fight, one darkness cast completely negated all the skeletons on both sides of the room, allowing us to defeat Ketheric's necromancer assistant first. When Ketheric finally does jump down, he is also blinded, and you will soon realize that not a lot of enemies in the game have Devil's Sight. One particular fight that may seem difficult is the one in House of Grief, where each Sharan enemy has Devil's Sight, which negates your darkness. But in reality this is no problem since you chose the dark Shadowheart path. The fight results in Shadowheart convincing the Sharans into a coup and outnumbering your enemies. The next sequence showed how effective darkness spell really is. Orpheus's Honor Guards, who beat the ever-living shit out of me in my first playthrough as a rogue. I think we can agree that these monks are possibly one of the more harder fights in the game, as they have perma-dodges and keep attacking, attacking and attacking. Lizelle casts Darkness, and with Darkness on, the smite crits become very satisfying.
Gotta keep fighting.
The Emperor mind controls the other monk, which aggroes another monk to force push her off the map. Phil does a cinematic smite, and the last monk is easily dispatched. Quite possibly the easiest version of my fight with these monks. Now this may not be important, but the Emperor peer pressures me to take his parasite. And while it does give a lot of benefits, I don't want my character to have the ugly face.
And you will soon see that the benefits outweigh any perceived loss. No!
Even as you...
No, no, no!
It wants to evolve.
No, 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 no!
Your body has never felt more connected. Your mind present in every flex of a joint or muscle.
You are exquisite.
We meet Raphael and accept his deal. I would highly recommend you accept this deal and have Lae'zel in your party. Or if you are playing a Githyanki Tav, you will get the Astral Silver Sword from Kithrak Voss. Also, I did this to piss off the Emperor, who is a gaslighting little bitch.
You cannot even get close to it, no matter what the devil whispers in your ear.
If you want to go even further with this build, be sure to pick up Viconia's Mace in the House of Grief. It deals poison damage and necrotic damage, and combine it with Smite to go overboard. Also, you get a cool shield. In my playthrough, while exploring the city again, since it's been a long while I've been last in Act 3, I get ambushed by the Ball assassins who murder a dog named Sparky that came to my aid. For this, I decided to depopulate the entirety of the cult in the city. Saravok Anshev first. We closed the door in front of his chamber and smacked the 3 guards first. Had more difficulties with them than I did with Saravok, to be honest. During the fight with Saravok, his little shield with the group is the most annoying since they can cleanse the blinded status on him, nullifying my darkness. We Eldritch blast him away, and alone he really didn't do much. I noticed the AI tend to just stand outside the darkness and stare, wasting their turns. And with the Great Old One's Frightened passive, it's just a bunch of 99% hits. I think Shadowheart got like 6 critical strikes that fight. Testing out the build against Orin went a little sideways, because normally you won't have a lot of chipping damage, no magical missiles or rays of fire to proc the unstoppable trait Orin and Ball assassins have. But considering it is quite hard to hit you in your darkness, and the Great Old One passive which will frighten Orin when you land the critical, you will have enough survivability. In the video, for simplicity's sake, I used all of my extra attacks from Pact Weapon and Paladin level 5 to just Unga Bunga Orin. Also, be sure with Darkness to take every chance you have to make a surprise attack. Casting Darkness and going turn-based before combat starts gives you some time to hit first, making each enemy surprised and having a few hits off before the battle starts. While level 8 is in my opinion where the build starts to shine, that's purely if you go Paladin Warlock multiclass. You can in reality just go Warlock and Wizard to have a guaranteed landings on your spells. It's just the Paladin Smite is thematically the most fitting for a one-shot if you want to mimic Jujutsu Kaisen. And Smite can just one-shot so many big HP bars, it's absurd. So here it is. What other thematic builds would you enjoy? Or what other thematic builds would you like to see? Comment down below, and thanks for watching.